What's going on, guys? This is King Orange here, back again for another video. And here today, guys, I have a guest with me, LessQuasar. He's a good friend of mine on Xbox Live, and he does good videos himself. He has a YouTube channel where he does mostly game night videos. So, yeah, if you're interested in checking him out, I will post a link to his channel in the description below. With that out of the way, let's get started. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about what Battlefield 5's potential success could mean to the future of gaming. So far, Battlefield 5's been decently critically, you know, it's been received pretty well critically, and we need to figure out what exactly this could mean to the future of gaming if Battlefield 5 actually financially succeeds. And with this, we'll discuss Battlefield 5 as far as our opinion on the quality of the game, as far as our position on the matter, and, basically share all that good stuff. So, yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. Les?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm here.
What's your position on Battlefield 5?
Um, where do I start?
I guess we could start with a question kind of where the troubles began, which honestly, in my view, is probably back when the reveal trailer came out. That's sort of to me where the troubles began, and it just got worse from there, personally.
Yeah, the reveal trailer, I've seen it, and it just looked too chaotic. To be honest, it just looked like, well, let's just say that the reveal trailer didn't really give us a reason to actually play the game. It didn't give us an actual reason. And I've heard many other people say the same thing. And what can I There's just so much there was just so much going on. You just didn't know what the hell was happening.
Well, that was my biggest problem with the reveal trailer, which was it was just you could not even really tell that well what was happening. You were like, what on earth? What am I supposed to be feeling with this trailer? What kind of feeling am I supposed to have with this trailer? Is it supposed to be really gritty and serious, or is it supposed to be this epic, bad A, oh, this tough as nails, fun or whatever? But it's I don't know what kind of feeling the trailer was trying to give off. And on top of that, half of the trailer was just emphasized on a freaking clawed woman. That's what half of the trailer was about.
Yeah,
And it's just
a lot of people could argue that prosthetic limbs work. But here's the thing. Did it work like that in 1942? I mean, think of it this way. You can get rejected from the military if you have asthma back then. What makes you think if you had a prosthetic limb that they would allow you to actually join the military?
well, especially back then with the prosthetics. I'll tell you something that's hilarious. She's doing all the flips and stuff, and heaven forbid, midway trailer, she's freaking using a sniper rifle. How are you gonna be able to stabilize the rifle enough when you have a freaking clawed hand and you're literally using a clawed hand, yet you can somehow stabilize a sniper rifle and get instant headshots with it and quick scope people with it and jump out windows and then quick scope people, and it's where's the logic? How is this even plausible?
People could argue that there is no logic in video games, but here's the thing. There has to be some logic to video games, at least just a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Not to where,
Well,
yeah.
at least in this kind of game, if you're making a complete fantasy game, then whatever, but not when you're making a game set in, the most devastating conflict in human history.
True.
A war that's responsible for over 70 million deaths. I don't think that can be something associated of just, oh, it's just a video game. Like, seriously?
Well, if it's just a video game, why did EA claim it to be historically accurate when in fact it wasn't? Sure, there were
It's
men in the war, but not in the front lines. And here's the thing that really baffles me. Here's the thing. Angry Joe said something about Call of Duty World War II putting women in the front lines, and that game took place in 1942. And surprisingly enough, when Battlefield 5 did the same thing, he praised Battlefield 5, even though he criticized Call of Duty World War II for doing the same thing. Like he completely ignored he. It's like he forgot that he ever had that review on Call of Duty World War II, and which
I don't know. Maybe he was
yeah,
suffering amnesia.
probably, or he has way too much faith in EA and very little for Activision. But here's the thing: Activision never claimed historical accuracy to Call of Duty World War II, nor did it.
Well, at least the multiplayer side of it.
Yes, on the multiplayer side of it. Nor did they insult the fan base by saying, if you don't like it, then don't play it. And you know what? And not just that, they also called their fans uneducated
Uneducated.
because how are they uneducated, Orange? Tell me.
Because apparently they think, because apparently the fan base calls out and says it's historically inaccurate that women are heavily being, well, no, not just women, but minorities in general are being utilized so heavily within the front lines while simultaneously having everyone walk around like they're Mad Max characters or skins from Fortnite. And on top of that, prosthetic arms that are so impractical that it's like not even funny.
So EA probably would have gotten away with that had they said have if they had said that it was a historically altered World War II game. But they didn't. They just claimed accuracy on the multiplayer side.
Well, that's what I find funny with Angry Joe's reaction. Angry Joe's like saying, like if they wanted to go alternate history type stuff, they could have went really all out, and that would have been awesome. And I'm like, yes, they could have, and that would have been great. Then it would have excused any and all complaints because, well, it's not based on our actual timeline. It's based on, well, alternate history. But no, instead DICE is claiming this is an accurate World War II game while simultaneously bashing anyone who questions their higher sense of intelligence or morality. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. When the reveal trailer came out, I I didn't like it. I found the reveal trailer to be
Underwhelming
underwhelming.
and
Underwhelming would probably be the
chaotic.
best word. I was just, well, it was so chaotic I didn't know what the heck was happening. But by the end of it, by the time the title card came out, I was just like, well, whatever. It's just that just wasn't that good of a trailer. It was kind of mediocre. That was the best way I could depict it. But I still had a decent amount of faith within it. I was like, fine, the next trailer will get better. And I also highlighted the inaccuracies. I was like, yeah, these inaccuracies are terrible, but I'm like, maybe they'll explain it or something or try to dial down a little and such later on. And it's like, because originally I wasn't convinced that it was a social justice warrior thing. Like, people pointed that out immediately, and I should have saw the signs. But originally I just
We just
thought,
didn't want
okay,
to.
maybe they are just doing it because, maybe, don't forget Battlefield 1, the number one complaint with Battlefield 1 was there wasn't enough, like, progression in the game, like, not enough customization options and such. So I was like, maybe they're just doing it as a response to that, or maybe they're just doing it as a replacement for microtransactions since they said they weren't doing loot boxes or a season pass, which let's see how long that lasts. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like, with that, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Do you think they
But
did?
then freaking DICE developers have to open their mouths and say, "Oh, like people are complaining about this, and it's like I find myself, I
I
will
will
be
be
on
on
the
the
right
right
side
side
of
of
history,
history.
and
And
it's like, seriously? You think that a decision you made on a video game is gonna somehow put you on the right side of history, and that people don't understand it's a plausible scenario and such? And I'm just like, are you seriously being for real with me? You're seriously gonna go there? And it was at that point I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a political agenda, and it's definitely not cool. It's not, that is not cool. And even with that, I still held decent views. I still was like, okay, this is killing my excitement, but if the gameplay's good, then maybe, just maybe, I can forgive the inaccuracies and guys clearly doing it out of a social justice motivation. But no, that all changed after EA Play when Patrick Soderlund had to open his mouth, call anyone with these sort of reservations uneducated,
Uneducated.
and for these kind of people that don't understand it, you have two choices: either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either or. It's just not okay. And also, everyone making their speeches about their daughters, like, why?
So,
So,
if your daughter learned about World War II and found that in history there was very few small number of women that were actually in the war. Those are pretty
well, and then you can think of the Russians.
and
Because during Stalingrad and Moscow, the Russians did utilize female soldiers mostly for artillery as well as snipers. So, in all fairness, there were some areas, but those were, I think what people need to understand is those were the exceptions, not the norm. Especially when you think of everyone, like in the case of Russia, like everyone's like, oh, well, Russia utilized females. Well, yes, they did, but they didn't use them in frontline combat. They used them at most as snipers, and this was literally when the Germans were on their doorstep. This only occurred when Russia was fighting a defensive war. And that's only because, don't forget, Soviet Union's led by Stalin, and he was literally going to put every man, woman, and child in front of him and in between him and the Germans.
yeah. Well,
So
we
it's just like,
I'm sorry.
even with that, even in the case with the resistance fighters, it's like, yes, while these things occurred, they're not to an extreme basis where you could say they're even comparable to the amount of men that fought within World War II. Like, it's barely a percentage.
Right, and sometimes I just don't get what EA is doing, to be honest, anymore. Like it's fun.
Well, I'm gonna ask, like, what was your reaction when you figured out, when you like heard the comment that Patrick Stolten was like stating?
Um, remember that night we had that one game night and I went crazy?
Yeah.
Um, I exactly like that, but angry. Yeah, I was really angry when he said that. And now when people ask me, "Hey, are you gonna get 5?" I'm just gonna reply, "Oh no, I'm not educated enough."
Yeah, those honestly, those are my favorite joke comments. The ones that say, this game looks actually pretty fun. I would definitely like buying the game, but I'm too uneducated to press the pre-order button.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's what I find funny about Patrick Soderlund. It's like, isn't it a very funny coincidence that we get the news that he resigns just when we get the info of how low Battlefield 5's pre-orders are. Isn't that just a funny coincidence, or is it just me?
It is a funny coincidence, but here's the thing. I thought the reviews were weak from what I hear. Sure, they can say that
Like,
they could say that
Oh, go ahead.
because Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was coming out. But here's the thing: I don't think it wouldn't have mattered the whether or not Call of Duty was coming out or Red Dead Redemption 2. Re- Pre-orders
Well, okay.
way,
I,
just
I,
not
I
that
wouldn't
low.
go that far. Like I do agree that it definitely played a factor until
But
they delayed the game, so now they have no further excuse. But it's like, so I agree it did a factor, but it's not the only reason. And I do hate it
exactly,
when people like Joe are trying to downplay this controversy. Like, oh, this controversy barely has anything to do with the low pre-order sales. Really? Because you realize it's not just about the people that, were insulted by that. It's also about the people they told. Because think
right?
about it. How do you think an average Joe is going to react if their best friend goes up to them and says, you know, you ask your friend, like, hey, this game looks interesting and stuff. Should I buy it? And he just responds, oh, yeah, did I mention that the head of the company called us uneducated? How do you think that average Joe with no prior knowledge about Battlefield 5, like, how do you think he's going to react to that? To his friend telling him that the head of the studio called the fan base uneducated. Do you really think he's going to want to join a fan base like that?
No, not at all. Although there's some people that are like that, despite looking at the facts that are right in front of them, even no matter how much they know or how little they know or whatever. Some people just they
Well, like it,
don't want to accept the reality because
like I said,
it's
I
half
associate that
right.
with the exception and not the norm.
Exactly. Honestly, I didn't want to accept Battlefield was going to follow the same path as what was that other game franchise they ruined?
Oh, Battlefront 2?
Well, yeah, I refuse to acknowledge that game's existence altogether.
Let's think.
What was the other
Battlefront
one?
2, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh,
Um,
don't mention that here because Zero hates it when we mentioned Mass Effect Andromeda 2. Actually, no, let's keep at it. Keep this in. He hates it, and he just won't acknowledge all the crap that EA's done. Like he acknowledges what that EA is a pretty horrible company, but he just doesn't want to accept that they've ruined his franchise, and he refuses to believe that Battlefield 5 is the same thing with the Battlefield franchise.
well, the case with Zero, and by the way, guys, in case you don't know, Zero's another colleague we play with on Xbox, but literally, like, he's not even like the problems aren't even being acknowledged by these people, and I think it's just it is blind fanboyism essentially because it's like they're not. It's more like they can't accept it because they don't want to. They don't want to face the problem. They just want to pretend it doesn't exist
Exactly.
when there's more
Exactly.
than enough evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. Yet
But
here we are.
sometimes you just have to face reality, and that reality is EA screwed up pretty badly with this game.
Well, I'm not even going to blame this exclusively on EA this time. Like, DICE,
That could be true.
even. Like, here's the
That's
thing.
true.
It's like, sure, EA's done a lot of crap, but I don't think EA is really going to be the advocate of a social justice warrior movement. They're probably just like, well, as long as it sells, we don't give a crap. So I actually, like, this time, I don't demify EA in a sense. As much as as weird as that is, I actually don't. Because, well, in all fairness, DICE sort of brought this upon themselves to an extent.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do firmly believe that. And what's funny is if DICE just like shut up, if they knew how to keep their mouths closed, then this wouldn't be a prominent issue. It's like think about Activision's case with Call of Duty World War II. When they were getting the backlash they were, what did they? How did they respond? What did they say? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, from what I recall,
They
they
didn't.
didn't say anything. I've heard
No, they didn't. They just ignored it.
controversy
They
about
just
Activision.
ignored it and continued with their game. And it's like, sure, yes, it kind of sucks that they don't acknowledge it either, but at least they're not insulting their fan base about it and saying, oh, people who don't understand, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no. Instead, Activision's just, by ignoring the people, they kind of just are saying, we're going to make the game we want to make.
I don't think
And
it's the
that's
fact
it.
that
That's
they're
all they're
just.
saying.
I don't think it's the fact that they're just not acknowledging it. I just think that they acknowledge it. They just don't want to say it publicly because if they say the wrong thing, then well, they're gonna get this not the same kind of backlash that EA and Dice has gotten with Battlefield 5, but I imagine it would be just as bad, like almost as bad for them.
Well, here's what I find like really funny is the fact that it's like, and it's just it's what I find ridiculous. It's just like, I it would have been so easy for this year's Battlefield, like Battlefield 5. It would have been so easy for it to outshine Call of Duty World War II. It would have been so easy. Because I'm going to be honest, Call of Duty World War II, it got a lot of things right, but I still overall find it a pretty mediocre game.
Yeah,
It's like,
it gave me the same kind of feeling when I played Battlefield 1, which was
well, you and I hold a different opinion on Battlefield 1, but honestly, what World War II, my opinion surrounding the game was just that it was like literally my issue was just it did nothing innovative. There was nothing new about it. It's just like sure they took out the enhanced mobility and that's great. Well, what's left? What else is there? Is there anything else they're gonna try? And it's like no. Instead, they they basically just reverted it back to what the crisis was during Modern Warfare 3. Because that's what the crisis was with Modern Warfare 3. It was like, there was nothing remotely bad, but it was just more of the same, and there wasn't anything new, innovative, and it just kind of made it mediocre.
yeah. I have like nothing to say because you have plenty to say right now, and it's kind of making me look like yeah, but whatever. Um,
Well, I'm sort of on a limitation, and that's where you'll need to come in because, like I said, I'm still on my recovery from my surgery. So, um,
well,
I'm tempted to go on Battlefield 4, um, but it's just like still, I just to to initiate the point, EA really they really screwed up as far as that controversy goes. And here's the thing, like I said, I still held hope a little bit, like the very last hope I had. It's literally like it's like was the beta because I was hoping when playing the beta I would have been like, I'm still not gonna buy the game. I'm still gonna oppose it with dear life.
yeah, I
But
played the
maybe
beta,
just
and
maybe, yeah, I did as well. But I'm just saying what I felt before it. I was like originally like maybe with the beta the gameplay will be really good, and I'll be like, okay, this is actually maybe this can be a small redeeming factor. But no, I did the beta and I was just like, what
it
the heck
felt
is this?
it felt to me that it was a Battlefield game No, no. It felt to me that it was a Call of Duty game with a Battlefield skin, basically. They decreased the time to kill, which made it basically it, basically we see you first. So we see you first. I shoot first. You're basically dead. That's typically what happens in Call of Duty. But Call of Duty, Black Ops 4 actually surprised me. I have a game, but my friend Cross, who who hates Call of Duty, absolutely loves the game. He absolutely loves it, and I think after hearing that, I think I want to get Call of Duty Black Ops 4 now.
Well, here's the thing. I'm asking for it for Christmas. I'm gonna see if my family will get it for Christmas, and that's what's funny. I thought this year, back during the beginning of the year, before any reveal trailers, before anything occurred, I was thinking in my mind, I'm gonna get Battlefield this year and probably skip Call of Duty because Call of Duty is just Call of Duty, and I'm just like, no. Surprisingly, it feels like the opposite, and that's where I almost feel sad because I'm like, like seriously, like Dice, you have to, for me, you have to screw up pretty badly when you get to the point where I want to play a Call of Duty game more than yours.
Oh, and let's not forget what happened in the chat, the multiplayer chat for Battlefield 5,
Which one? Because they had like multiple ones.
where they censored white man, which, well, it's a little weird.
Oh,
They
that.
censored white man, but not, censor
Oh
such man.
man.
I don't want to I don't want SJWs to come in here and be like, "Oh, white men don't exist" or something like that. Cuz yeah, I don't know. And see, white man, another thing. They
Oh,
also
and Nazi
oh,
and DLC.
Nazi
It's not censored if you say free DLC. If you say regular DLC, it's censored.
anyway, Titanfall 2. Why censor Titanfall 2? That game came out 2 years ago and what? Whoever like handles the chat, like the like all the chat, like the censors and crap for like certain words, I want to know what was going on in their head. Were they smoking weed when they did that? Orange?
What? Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Got a little distracted.
I was asking you, did they smoke weed or something? Because please give me those drugs. Please, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do. I'm gonna do a little edit. I'm gonna do
Uh,
a little edit on my on my voice when I said it the second.
yeah.
I'm gonna make it funny, a little bit funny because I'm here. But
Okay, just remember, don't force it. That's just the main
I'm not
thing.
gonna force it too much. I'm just gonna do like one little edit, and that's it. Anyway, why censor Titanfall 2 games? I would understand if it was Call of Duty. I mean, has anyone typed Call of Duty in the chat recently? Like, hey, this is boring. I want to go play Call of Duty. Or did it not do that? Instead, it's, hey, this game's boring. You want to play beep? Why is Titanfall 2?
Uh, like Call of Duty is just Call of Duty is in a really weird case right now. I'm not gonna lie.
It's weird. I mean, for once, the game, like the. With Call of Duty, it's. I mean, it's good for Black Ops 4 right now, but what's going to happen next year?
Oh, well, next year's Infinity War, so that's a
Oh,
little concerning for my conscience.
oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, here's the thing. This is kind of unrelated, but for like Halo Infinite, if Halo Infinite comes out next year, that's actually like the perfect timing.
I'm hoping it's good. I have a little bit more faith now in 343 since the trailer. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Just they're listening. That's probably just the main thing.
Yeah, they finally
They're
started
listening to
listening
what we have to say.
after they announced that they were going to fix the MCC and actually did fix the MCC, at least in the US.
Which surprised me. But yeah, okay, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point.
This went off
I'll
topic,
probably
yeah.
get into
Uh,
yeah. Like we can make a Halo video later, but
yeah, we can do that later.
all right. But back
But
to the Battlefield discussion.
let's see how long is this video. This is 33 minutes long. Should we answer the big question? What does it
Uh,
mean for
yeah,
the
sure.
future of EA? So, and Orange just told me this like an hour ago, I think. He told me that a lot of was it what was it like two reviewers that you told me about?
Yeah, so far too. Like the big reviewers haven't come out yet, so I still have to wait and see what they say, but it's still concerning.
I mean, yeah, it's not a big deal because it's two reviewers. Two reviewers said um that basically that this is the game to get, I guess. I didn't really watch the review or
By the way, this does not include Jack Frags because Jack Frags will never say a negative thing to save his soul. Which I mean, Jack Frags is the only person. I'm gonna admit, Jack Frags is the only one that can suck on dice's. You know what? And actually still be a rather chill dude.
I mean,
I will
it's
give
good that he's
credit to him on
positive,
that end.
but it's good that he's always positive with his reviews, but and I never seen Jack Frags, to be honest, or any of his videos. So it's nice that a reviewer is being positive about the games that he's reviewing. He's at least he's not like very pessimistic and whatnot. Pessimistic reviewers are like, "Oh, this game's gonna like fail by the end of this year or whatever." Um,
Well, that's what I'm starting to feel like, and it's like I don't want to be that. I don't want to become a pessimistic reviewer before I even play the game. But it's like at the same time, though, especially in the case of Battlefield 5, it's just like I take a judge because I'm not really mad at the game itself, and that's the thing. Maybe the positive reviewers are associated to those that don't take the controversy or what EA says.
to
You know,
heart.
maybe it didn't. Yeah, maybe they don't take it to heart, or maybe it just they don't think it speaks to them. And maybe if that's the case, then maybe they're thinking, well, I'm just gonna judge the product for what it is, and it's like, I admit that mentality's good and that's fine. Like for the sake of just a review, that's fine. But I don't want people to get the wrong impression that just because the game might be a little bit of fun means you should try to get it pay full price and basically reward EA and DICE for treating us like crap.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Because that is what they're effectively doing. It's like because that's the thing. It's not really about at this point to me, it's not really about whether or not the game is good. Like, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe they've done a lot of improvement from the beta. Because let me tell you, if the beta was the example of how the game's gonna be, ooh, that's not good. But I have heard from people a lot of improvements were made since the beta, and if that's the case, then good for
Good for
whoever's in
Dice.
charge of that. But yeah, and that's another thing. I understand that, I feel bad. Like, people say, well, you're like punishing everyone, like even the employees and stuff that just want to make a good game. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, that sucks, but it's like, that's the world we live in. That's like World War II. You should get that better than anyone when you're making a game set in World War II, where sadly good people do have to be punished because of what bad leaders do.
Yeah,
For
I mean
goodness sakes, I think you could
they're
associate the
working. They're
entire
trying
German
to.
regime.
Yeah, they're working. They're trying to provide, food on their family's plate. They're trying to provide a roof over their kids' heads, and I completely understand that. But see, here's the thing: not all the employees are the ones to blame. It should be the one who decided, hey, we're gonna market it like this to be a historically accurate game, when in reality it's not. I mean, it take let's take the case of 343's Halo 5 marketing incident um in this as an example. They marketed it in a way where we're supposed to be like hunt the truth, all that kind of crap. And
Like, oh, is Master Chief a traitor? Is he not a traitor?
we
Is
didn't
he
get
going
any of that
rogue?
at all. We got that for like 5 seconds, and then it turned from we're hunting Chief to oh, we're gonna save him from Cortana.
We're gonna save him from from apparently an AI returning who becomes evil and wants to form a robot revolution. Apparently,
Well, yeah, basically. So false advertising was Halo 5's fail, and a lot of people still played it. But here's the thing: if you do something to the campaign, yeah, whatever, big deal. But if you do something to the multiplayer, I think that's what negatively affects a game so much, which is why,
well, because it's constant. Like a
yes,
campaign, you play through it once and then you're done. It's like
multiplayer
it's
is
fine. It's
forever.
like, well, it's not fine. Like it's still bad, but it's like at least, yeah. With the case of Halo 5, it's like, I played through the campaign. I absolutely hated it, but
Multiplayer
I'm
is a little bit
still,
fun. Forging, they didn't have Urgent Launch, and I was sad about that. But when they finally added it in, I was happy because Forging was,
yeah, it was really good. Like,
it,
dude,
yeah,
forging custom games on Halo 5 really benefited. Like, they got really creative with what you could do. And that's why the only thing I hated was it just didn't have community options. Like, dude, imagine if they had Halo 5's level of Forge and custom game options combined with, like, Halo Reach's community features. Like, that would literally make the ultimate Halo game for, like, game nights and stuff.
well for us at least. Yeah, we all got.
Yeah, but it's,
Again, we're off topic. Oh my god.
yeah, but, yeah, I know. It's just, okay, back to the point, though. Like,
But
false
we
advertising.
did.
Like,
But we
Battlefront 2
did.
did
Yeah.
the same crap.
In what way? I
Like Battlefront 2 also pulled the
Battlefront 2.
same crap. Well, with the whole campaign being an Empire story and then third mission ending, Iden Versio defects to the rebels.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, why?
Oh, that was a punch in the gut for me.
Anyway, I have to use the bathroom real quickly. Hang on.
Alright, apparently, like, yeah, he's going through that.
Oh, okay, I'm back.
Okay, good.
Now, now I won't say that Battlefront 2's campaign was bad. It just wasn't the campaign that we wanted, that we expected.
Well, no, not even what I expected, what we were promised.
Well, yeah.
Like, there's a difference between, like, expectation where it's like, this is sort of the fans' fault because they were trying to expect something that the developers were never intending to give them.
It's
There's a
completely
difference
not their
between
fault.
that. There's a difference between that and doing a game where it's like you market the game as one thing and it turns out to be something else.
Yeah, yeah, I can't recall another example of that, but there've been I don't know how many games that have fell into like stooped to that level. Falsely advertising a game and then you didn't get what you want. You didn't get what you were promised. And that makes me angry. It really does. And I just
I think it fairly makes everyone angry with it because it's just dumb. Like you go through this crap and it's just like why? Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep forcing our hand to constantly get pissed at you over stuff like this? And it's just it's dumb. It's just that's the best way to put it. It's dumb. And on top of that, what makes the situation even worse is that it really just emphasizes just how ridiculous studios are. They don't even have enough faith within their own product, so they have to market the product as something else.
That's the sad, honest truth about some gaming companies. Um, yeah, you do everything you can, and then you stoop into that level, a level none of us wanted to be at when it comes to games. I wish we could just go back to the days where all we complained about was gameplay bugs, all that kind of stuff, but no, there's more that we complain about now other than just bugs, gameplay, gunplay, and all that sort of things. Now we complain about what the company's done and how do I say this without angering certain people? The fanboys of a specific franchise. They'll hype the game up so much that a lot of people will buy into it, and they'll start to think that maybe this isn't a bad game after all. But here's the thing: if you keep feeding EA and Dice money, like for a really, really what I consider to be a failed game, to be honest, in my opinion, uh, then they're just gonna keep doing the same thing with their next game, or not even in this within the same franchise, but to another franchise that they have.
Well, they most definitely will. Like that's the thing. It's a pattern. Like it's the same thing, but with loot boxes. Like don't forget what happened with loot boxes. EA kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and making it more aggressive, more worse, until finally Battlefront 2 came, and then we finally put our foot down. We were like, no, no, we're done with loot boxes. We're done with this crap. We're done with you trying to get children hooked into gambling. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, gambling
And then look
addiction.
what happened with Battlefield 5. We finally, the one good thing with Battlefield 5 is loot boxes, for now at least, are finally gone.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they're gonna add it eventually if nobody buys their game. Because here's the thing: I think this is what Cross told me. Apparently, Call of Duty didn't sell as well as most people thought, at least according to the investors. According to what my friend said, since the investors said that they didn't make the sales that they wanted, they're apparently gonna bring loot boxes, or they already done it already. I don't know. I don't have the game. I don't pay attention that much. So unless I'm getting my information completely wrong because I have not played the game, but this
Well, that is a danger that could happen. Like if Battlefield 5 did sell poorly, and this is honestly something Cross stated as a warning, that EA might actually try to use that to their advantage. Like, be like, oh, because of our fan base, because of how bad that is, they couldn't
because
even
of how
accept our
uneducated we are.
generosity of. They couldn't even accept our generosity of removing loot boxes and season passes, so we're gonna go back to that.
See, if they had removed loot boxes at the like with the right game, the game that everyone loved, like still loves, in fact, like name a really good game that has loot boxes from EA.
From EA, I thought you were gonna say period. Like if
Period.
you can say
No.
period, I would say Overwatch could still classify as a really good game. The loot boxes are annoying, but they don't ruin it.
Agreed. Agreed. But yeah,
But it's like, yeah, but if you're thinking of an EA game, what okay, I would probably say Battlefield 4 and 1. Because
four
those,
and
in
one,
all fairness, those games do have loot boxes,
but they were
but they are,
games.
but in all fairness, they're only cosmetic. So in all fairness, they're
See, I
somewhat excusable.
see. I don't mind loot boxes if it's purely cosmetic, But if you want to add loot boxes that are like microtransactions involving weapons and stuff, you're basically giving everyone a free pass. Like, oh, I guess I'm gonna decide to be lazy and not earn this weapon and just buy it. That's the kind of thing I don't
Well, honestly, look, that
transactions.
doesn't even bother me as much. It's just here's the thing, like with the case of EA, like I said, the whole principle, because people try to say, well, oh, the cosmetic options that Battlefield 5 got, that's like the only way they can get revenue. It's like, okay, there's 2 points I want to make behind this. Firstly, I think a game can make money without having to overly saturate microtransactions or DLC.
Right?
I think it's possible. For goodness sakes, how do you think games prospered back in the day? And yes, I understand game budgets now are a lot more expensive than back then. I understand that. But another key thing to understand is that, even like with nowadays, there are games that do the revenue in a way that works. Like, for example, if you want one of the best microtransaction systems I've ever seen in a video game, period, Timefall 2, without a doubt. In fact, in my opinion, I actually think Timefall 2 probably has the best microtransaction system of any video game, at least on console.
Yeah.
Because literally the whole philosophy with Timefall 2 is just, hey, it's just skins, and if you want it, you can have it. Like here, just pay $2 to $3, and the skin is yours. And that's it. That's all it is. There's no catch. There's no gambling. There's no loot boxes. There's no, oh, well, this skin only works for this and this. No, it's just you get it and it's done. You buy it, it's done. The transaction's complete. And that's it.
I completely agree with you on that.
And it's like, if Battlefield 5 wanted to adopt a system like that, it's like that's fine, but you still have to make it in a way that's non-intrusive. Like, for example, imagine if Timefall 2 did a Titan that was composed of like, okay, imagine if they did a Titan that looked like a freaking like sex doll or something. It would be
Oh,
out of
jeez.
place. It wouldn't fit the game.
Jeez.
It wouldn't fit the game like at all.
No, it wouldn't actually. What?
Well, that's basically what this is for Battlefield 5, including all this junk. It's like there's plenty of options they could have done that, didn't involve having to do this crap, like not involving, you know, there's plenty they could have done that would have that because don't forget World War II was a big conflict. There's a lot of uniforms and stuff you could have done. You didn't have to implement this freaking prosthetic arms and junk.
Didn't you say that some of the outfits from what was it? One of the teams that didn't really match what like in the multiplayer what who they were fighting for, like say China or US or whatever.
Oh yeah, I forgot. During the
France.
beta, here's the thing that's funny. With minority groups, it's not just women's or blacks and stuff. They freaking let you play as Asians in the Allied powers.
That's bonkers.
Even though they freaking let you do that on Europe. All right, it's not like you have a China map, a China versus Japan map. No, it's literally Europe and you're having that. You literally have a scenario where you can literally do black female Nazis. And it's just like, what? Like the farthest you could go was a slightly different skin tone. And that's it. Aside from that, it's the
Yeah,
same.
not every person. Yeah,
But
not every person of a specific race has the same skin tone. When did this conversation turn into this?
well, I don't know. It's just part of the gig. But it's mostly just the point. It's just mostly about the point of just how stupid things are getting. Like, why? Why is DICE repeating this? Like, when do they learn? When?
Probably
It's not a hard concept.
probably when people stop buying into their bullshit and actually, you know, just stop buying their games. And maybe when their company,
Well,
I'm not saying this is going to be a this is
go
gonna,
ahead.
I'm saying this as a hypothetical scenario. If people stop buying into their games, stop buying them, stop putting up with their the crap that they've done, and what we had to endure, and the company fails, like it's going into bankruptcy and stuff, and by the time they're going to release their next game, maybe then they would listen. But this is a hypothetical scenario, so that's never going to happen because people buy their games. People are always going to have not. I wouldn't say they're going to have faith in them because it's more like it's denial. They're they're in a lot of people are going to be in denial because they don't want their games to be ruined and they don't want their favorite franchises to fail. And like me, I didn't want, like, yes, Halo 5's campaign was but I kind of was in denial that Halo's turn has been reduced to that. And see,
Well, dude, I was literally battling the five. Dude, as weird as it is, Halo 5, I was like doing the 5 stages of grief in a video game.
oh, that's hilarious.
Like, first denial, then anger, then bargaining, then depression, and then finally acceptance.
Acceptance.
And acceptance only happened like fairly recently, like probably when they released their last update, and I was finally like, okay,
Wasn't
I
that
can
over like
enjoy
a
the
year
game for
ago?
what it is. Yeah.
I bet Zero is also in the 5 stages of grief.
Oh, he will be for Battlefield 5.
yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Zero can truly live up to that type of stuff. Like, I don't even think Ortiz can.
Well, he's how old is he? 12?
Yeah.
Well, he's 12 years old, so he doesn't
Yeah, so I guess
understand anything.
In Ortiz's case, it's probably more like he doesn't care.
I mean, well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. After he either probably doesn't
Because
care,
that's kind of what he stated on
understand.
my stance. He didn't say you're like right or wrong. He just said he just doesn't really care about it.
But some,
And but the thing is, he needs to care because he does realize that this controversy, whether he likes it or not, will affect the outlook and, in a way, the quality of the game.
yeah.
Whether he likes it or not, it's going to happen. Dang, I am on a sniper spree. Sorry, off topic.
You're probably gonna have to put a video in here to show that you actually did get a sniper spree. Jeez.
All right.
Let's see. What else can we talk
You
about?
got in the way of my bullet, buddy, but still, I got the kill anyway. So, uh, so thanks. It was just you I killed instead of your buddy. Crap. Ow.
yeah.
Okay, but still, it's stupid though. Like, why is it though that every single time we deal with this crap, it's just. I feel like we're having the same conversation about this
Yes,
crap.
we are. I
Because I
think we
swear,
run out of
I
things to
feel
talk
like
about.
no, no, not even with that. I feel like we've been through this with like Battlefront 2. That every single time an
Oh
EA
yeah.
game comes out, we just get disappointed.
Well, like I said, I've never played a lot of EA's games. The only EA games I played were it was the Harry Potter ones, and I rather enjoyed those.
Oh, back when EA had a
Back when EA
soul.
was good. Back when EA had a soul. Yeah. I don't know what happened to the soul after that. Maybe an SGW took that person's soul and has it in a necklace or whatever, and he just wears it around their neck, and is just running things from EA. Like, oh my god, yeah, those games were fun. I honestly wish those games were backward compatible, but that whatever.
That's a little much to ask, though.
I know it's a little much,
Especially since you're not
but
even, especially since it's not even multiplayer related. Like that decreases the chances heavily.
well, yeah, but there are some. Aren't there single player?
I'm not saying there's not exception. I'm just saying that single player games are a lot more difficult just because the idea of making a multiplayer game on the 360 backwards compatible is to try to get a community active in there again. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Should we? What? Go on.
but yeah, I'm just getting really irritated with what EA's doing. It's just I'm and I can't even associate much else. I'm just tired, especially considering. Here's the thing: Battlefield 5, I really wanted to like. My whole thought process with the game was literally like we need. My whole thought process was literally like Battlefront 2 was a bad year. Yeah, no doubt about that. But at least
Yes.
I liked Battlefield 1, so probably the next Battlefield will be good. And I thought the
Mm.
mentality, especially since this guy, it was clearly a fake leak, but he was saying a bunch of stuff of what the content of Battlefield 5 was going to be like, and man, it pumped me. I was actually fairly excited because he was saying things that now what knowing the game, I know it's fake, but at the time it sounded really realistic. It sounded very plausible to what Dice was making because they were saying, it'd be set in World War II, it'd have multiple fronts of the war with, the Americans, the Japanese, and all that. They'd have minor cosmetic options as earnable gameplay items, just not too far where it strays from accuracy. Really, the only thing he said that I didn't like was just it would probably have a season pass, but so that was the one good part that he was wrong about. But whatever. Um, and that it would include some of the most iconic battles and such. And I was just like, wow, that got me pumped. That was pretty good. And it didn't have to be exactly like that, but the whole approach, the idea of the accuracy, the idea of being close to that, it would have been, well, as I would consider it, the logical decision, the logical choice. But no, and instead, Dice gives us something where it's like, here's what I find funny. You know the whole Tides of War thing?
No.
Okay, it's like their free DLC system. It's gonna be like right now the multiplayer maps start out in like the beginning of the war, and they're gonna like have DLCs, free DLC, obviously, and it's gonna like cover like each theater of war, each like year, I think, and it's like it's trying to like tell World War II in like a chronological order, and I'm like, wow, that's actually initially a really good idea, except there's one problem. You're doing this to try to immerse your fan base within World War II, yet you're still like, but that doesn't make sense. You're trying to immerse your people in World War II, yet you have gameplay features and cosmetic items that aren't immersive.
Nope.
So it feels counterintuitive. On top of that, I was like, Dice was trying to say they were going to do the untold, unseen things of World War II, and I'm just like, cool. That's actually fine, but it's like literally all of the quote unquote untold all seen, they're all on the Western Front. There's like nothing related to the Russians or the Pacific or anything like that. Like, if you want to tell an untold aspect of World War II, look no further than China. No one talks about that. Like, no one. Like, have you ever seen the Japanese and Chinese War ever discussed within World War II topics? Like, ever?
Uh,
Oh, and probably to be more specific, anything but mention.
I don't know. Actually, I actually didn't listen. I'm sorry, but I got a text from my mom. I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Well, honestly, I feel like we're dragging the video longer than it probably needs to be, so
Yeah, it's an
probably time to
hour
wrap things
long.
up. Yeah, so we probably need to wrap it up. But
Yeah.
main thing, guys, to understand is just I firmly don't recommend supporting the game, especially considering, regardless of whether or not it's good, if we continue to support these policies, these things that EA are doing, it's only going to result in them continuing to do these bad business practices, continue to treat us like crap. Like this whole thing about, oh, we're uneducated. Well, if we keep buying into this crap, then, maybe EA has a point. maybe EA and DICE has a point if we keep buying into it. Because they're basically saying, haha, we can call you stupid and you'll buy our product anyways.
Yeah, that's big turn off for me.
Because that's basically what they're saying. So it's just like, especially when they're saying, like, either accept it or don't buy the game. So it's like literally they're saying, don't buy the game, essentially, if you have any problem with it. And it's just like,
But here's the thing. They're supposed to advertise that they're supposed to advertise it in a way that you should
feel persuaded to
you
buy it.
shouldn't be like, yeah, you should be persuaded into buying it, not have a company saying don't buy it. Because honestly, who could be that stupid to say that from a company that they work at to not buy their product? Like,
I don't know, man.
I would
Apparently,
understand
people
if it's
can be
like
weird.
I would understand if it's like an infomercial for a product that they have, and if you don't like this product, then you get your then you like if you don't like your product in 30 days, you can return it and you get your money back. That's the sort of thing they should be doing, but they don't buy it before anyone,
Well, even like the whole
and it's not
principle
even
of
out yet.
accept it or don't buy the game. The way they said it is more of the issue. Like they could say, "Hey, we're too late in development to really make any significant changes. We'll do what we can, but if that still doesn't satisfy you, then just you might as well not worry about it. You might as well not buy it." Like if they said it like that, then it'd be a little more forgivable, I would think. You know?
Rather than being called uneducated.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're saying it out of pride and not really an apology or anything like that. Or heck, even settle. Like, like I said, if they want to say, "Hey, we want to make the product we want to make," you know, and that's it. Like, sorry, if it's not the product you want, if it's not the product you personally asked for, we're still going to make it the way we want to make it. And it's like, okay, would that still irritate a bunch of people, including myself? Probably. But at least it'd be a better alternative to them downright saying, you're uneducated for not liking this, and if you don't, they didn't even say for those that don't like it. They said for those that don't understand it, either accept it or don't buy the game. So they're basically saying, even if you question it, and it's basically them saying, either you're going to go out and agree with every decision we make, or I want nothing to do with you. That's basically what they're saying. So yeah. So yeah, if they're gonna tell me not to buy the game, I'm just gonna do just that. And I will not give up on going against EA and DICE on this because I was a faithful I was a pretty faithful
Customer.
fan of DICE until this point.
Yeah.
But no, if this is how they're gonna freaking treat the people that's been standing by their game, some from like me all the way back from Bad Company 2, and for many people all the way back to their very first game, Battlefield 1942. If this is how they're gonna treat it, then yeah, they don't deserve a dime. So, yep, that's about it on my end. I'll let you give your final opinion, and then I'll wrap up the video.
To be honest, I have nothing to say. I'm pretty sure that everyone will. I'm pretty sure everyone will watch this and hopefully will, I don't know, learn something from this. Don't buy into everything that the company says. If you know for a fact that their game is crap, then just simply don't get it. How much faith you have in it, like not how much faith. I don't care if you're in denial. You have to look at the facts that are in front of you. If not, then they're just gonna keep doing it. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, that basically sums it up. So yeah, well, Les, thank you for joining in this video. It was nice having you in. I
Thank you
think
for
we
having
covered
me.
a lot of good points. Yep. Well, guys, that will probably be it. If you enjoyed this, please let us know, and we'll continue stuff like this in the future. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give a like. If you did not enjoy the video, well, then you're uneducated and screw you. I'm just kidding, guys. I swear to you,
Calm
I'm
down.
just
It's a
kidding.
joke.
I swear to you, I'm just kidding. But no, if you did enjoy the video, yeah, you can hit a dislike. Just do a favor for me. Just post in the comment what I could possibly improve on, just so I know. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned to more content. So yeah,
Oh,
until then, guys,
turn on your
this will
post
be
notifications.
Dumber Orange. Oh wait, oh my gosh, I keep saying Dumber Orange. I forgot I changed my
It's
YouTube
your
channel
gamer
name.
tag.
King Orange. Yeah.
You,
Okay, guys. Until then, this is King Orange, and just um, and LessQuasar. You can say something if you want. But yeah, until then, we will see you next time. So peace.
bye.